Hi, and welcome to Cooking in Mike's Backyard. Today we're going to be making burnt ends. Traditionally, burnt ends are made with the point end of a brisket. It's sometimes hard to get just the point end, so you have to buy the whole brisket. But I'm going to show you how to separate the point muscle from the flat muscle. And then I'll show you how to make the burnt ends. Sometimes people also make burnt ends with pork belly. I'll probably do another video on that, but today we're just going to make the beef burnt ends. Okay, so this is an 18-pound beef brisket. It's actually comprised of two different muscles. There's the flat muscle, which is right here, and then there's the point muscle. They actually lie on top of one another, and they're separated by a line of fat. To make the burnt ends, we make it out of the point muscle. So we have to separate the point muscle from the flat. Now, when I bought this brisket, I made sure that it had a pretty predominant point end. So first thing we're going to do is we're just going to cut off some of this really dense fat, trying not to cut into the meat of the point end. You can actually see where the two muscles are separated by the fat. I just want to make sure I get all of the point meat I can. Once I've located the area where the point and the flat connect, I'm just going to cut along that fat line, separating the two pieces of meat. Okay, so after you finish cutting them, you can see that they actually separate pretty evenly into two pieces of meat. We're going to set this aside, probably make a brisket out of it or maybe a pastrami, but this is what we're going to be using today for the burnt ends. We need to clean off all the fat so that there's really no fat at all and it's just meat. Okay, we've got this trimmed up. You can actually tell that the brisket is really well marbled all the way through, so cutting off all that fat shouldn't cause the brisket to dry out. We're going to keep the fat, as I've said in other videos. There's a lot of good uses for it. We'll probably use this to make sausage. But right now, let's move on to seasoning the meat, and then we'll put it in the smoker. Okay, for the rub, what we have here is 1/3 of a cup of salt, 1/3 of a cup of black pepper, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, and 1.5 teaspoons of paprika. Not really, it's going to add some flavor, but mostly I like the red color. So we're going to liberally cover the point end muscle. You don't really need to work it in, you just want to pat it in. We're going to do both sides. All right, that's looking good. We're just going to put it in a smoking rack. We're going to put it in the smoker. We're smoking with pecan, and it's going to be in the smoker uncovered for 4 hours at 250 degrees. Okay, so the brisket has been in the smoker now for 4 hours. We're going to take it out and just transfer it into an aluminum pan. We're going to add some beef base, probably about 1 cup. And this is just regular beef base. You can make your own, but store-bought works just fine. And you just want to basically fill it up about that much. And we're going to wrap it with aluminum foil. And put it back in the smoker for 3 hours. All right, so the brisket's been in for 2 hours and 45 minutes. It's really soft. I'm not really checking for temperature, I'm just checking for tenderness. That seems perfect. So we're going to take it out of the juice. So when you're making a sauce for burnt ends, you don't want it to be too sweet. So what I usually do is blend my regular barbecue sauce with the leftover beef drippings. I'm going to take the juice and put it in a fat separator because I want the beef juice, but I don't want the fat. We'll let that sit for a couple minutes. And while that's sitting, we're going to slice this up. We're going to slice it up into 1-inch cubes. All right, so after you get it sliced into cubes, you're just going to place it back in a half pan. Use a clean one. Don't use the one you used before. After you got it cubed up, you just want to take a little bit of the stock, which is being filtered out by the fat filter here. And maybe a little bit more. And you're just going to mix it with some barbecue sauce. This is my homemade regular barbecue sauce. It's pretty sweet. A little spicy. I'm just going to mix that around. Get it all incorporated. And then I'm just going to pour it over the meat. Then I'm just going to take a little bit more sauce. Put some regular sauce right on top. Brush it around, make sure it gets all covered. And then this is going to go back into the smoker for about 15 or 20 minutes, just so that the sauce can caramelize. All right, the beef burnt ends are done. Let's plate them up. All right, let's give it a try. Wow, they're good and moist and juicy. They're fantastic. That's good eating. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit subscribe or like or both. I'm posting videos as often as I can. Thanks for watching.